And as always the case, before working on any firearm, we want to make sure it is free and clear of any ammunition. Go ahead and lock the slide back. We can see the chamber area is clear, and the magazine is also empty. So I'll take a look at the controls and design features of the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. First, it is a double action only trigger assembly. So it's basically it features a long double action trigger pull, which cocks the hammer and then releases it. It is a hammer fired weapon. The hammer is internal in the slide there. You can actually see it a little bit in the back there. As you pull the trigger, you can see the hammer come back, and then it would fall. This is the slide lock here. The magazine does have a shelf on it. It's right there, which engages this internally in the frame so that on the last round, it will lift it up into this notch in the slide to lock it back. Right there. Then that would lock the slide back. Then to release it, you would just pull down on that. So, as far as other controls, it have a safety there. It is on fire when it's down. Up is safe. It does say safe there in small lettering. You might be able to read there. Other features, it is drift adjustable rear sight. The front sight post can be replaced. It's dovetailed in. This little witness hole here is meant to be a loaded chamber indicator. If there were a round in the chamber, you'd see the brass shine there on the case. Of course, it's empty, so it's just black right now. But that would be your indicator that there's a round in the chamber. This is the magazine release. You simply push down to release the magazine. Now, none of these controls are ambidextrous, so they're only on one side. The magazine release cannot be swapped over. And of course, only one side for the safety and for the slide release. This is the laser operation. This is the version that they came out with originally. It had a built-in laser. It's an Insight laser assembly. The module comes out. This is the button that controls it. A single push turns the laser on. You push again, and it goes to a rapid blink, and the third time would be off. Your elevation adjustment is right there, and windage is right there for the laser. It also comes provided with the really small Allen wrench that you need to make those adjustments, and that same Allen wrench is used to remove the laser module itself to replace the battery. So we'll take a look at that in just a moment. Of course, it has the danger laser emitting on it. I just left that on. It is just a sticker and can be removed. So we'll go ahead and take a look at disassembly. This is the disassembly notch right here. Now, this is the disassembly window or cutout in the slide. You would need to pull the slide back to where that cutout is right here, and then that would allow you to rotate this lever down to unlock it. So go ahead and, of course, put the safety on. There, go ahead and do it there like that. And once that's lined up, you can rotate that. Once it's rotated, it can be moved back and forth a bit to come out. And that removes the pin, and then the slide just slides off the frame. So on the frame itself, this is our hammer right there. As I said, it is hammer fired. This is the disconnector right there. The slide would push down on that to disconnect the trigger from the hammer. This section right here is the ejector. Kind of hard to see. You can kind of see it that way. It's right there. It does have a metal internal chassis for the rails. The rails, of course, right here and along here. So you'd want to clean off of those rails, then a light coating of oil for corrosion prevention and, of course, for lubrication. This is as far as you'd want to disassemble this. Now, as far as the removal of the laser module is right here, and this is the screw that you would use to remove that. Now, as I said, it takes really tiny little Allen wrenches. I can get one of those out. And it's the same, it comes with two, but it's the same one that you would use for windage and elevation adjustment. So you would basically put that in there. and then loosen it. Just takes a couple turns. Now once that's out, you'd basically put something under the screw to pry a little bit, and then that allows you to remove the laser module. This is the laser module right here. There's the batteries. For replacing the batteries, you would just take those out. There's the laser emitter window. There's your windage and elevation adjustments. So when you're adjusting them in the gun, it just accesses these holes to do that. There's the switches right there. There again, these rubber covers just engage those little buttons. So you don't need to remove this for general field maintenance. I'm just showing this so that if you do have one, this is how you get to the batteries. So replacement, you would just simply put it in the front end first, push it down, put the wrench in, and then turn the screw in. And like I said, it only goes in a couple times, and then that's reinstalled. That's as far as you'd want to disassemble the frame. Any further work should be done by a gunsmith. Any change or alteration to anything internally here could make the firearm unsafe or inoperable, or both. So, take a look at the slide. We have our recoil spring here. It is a non-captive recoil spring, so when you remove in traditional fashion, you would push in on that and lift up slightly. Just don't let it get away from you, because as soon as you lift up on that and it comes out of the saddle, if you don't have hold of it, it will shoot across the room. So go ahead and remove that, and we have it right here, and it just slides out right there. It is a dual spring. There's nested springs in there. Don't know if you can really see that well. But it is a double nested spring. The barrel itself achieves lockup using the squared off shoulders. The little ramp right here engages the pin internally, and that's what would unlock it. As the slide goes back, the pin would cause this to pull down a little bit, and then that allows the slide to go back. So to remove it, you just basically lift it out. And as far as maintenance, you would want to clean the rails, scrub everything out. This is as far as you want to disassemble this. The firing pin, the hammer hits this section right here, so you'd want to make sure this is all cleaned out good. This is a safety here, so the hammer, if it hits the firing pin, or for some reason, or if the weapon was dropped, the firing pin, here I'll go ahead and push in on this, it won't protrude. It should come out of that hole right there. Of course, probably impossible to see. It won't protrude unless this is pushed down, and that's pushed down when the slide is in the appropriate position on the frame to allow it to fire. So basically, this would push down, and it is under a bit of spring pressure. Once that pushes down, then the firing pin would be able to come fully forward. This is our extractor right here. It is an external extractor. And this is really as far as you'd want to take this apart. There again, this pin right here is what holds the extractor in and also locks everything on the inside for the firing pin and everything. So you don't really want to disassemble this any further, but that's as far as you want to go for cleaning. Reassembly, you would simply put the barrel in. The saddle that the recoil spring guide rod goes in is right there. So first put the barrel in. Put it in the locked position, so basically that's just where it goes down. Right there. Put the spring into its pocket on the front, and then you would just guide it in as you push down on it, and that goes back in like that. Then you would align the rails on the slide with the rails on the frame. And now, once you get it to about this point, you have to look down in that hole. Let's see if I can make it to where you can see it. It's kind of hard to see, but you want to push the slide back until, there you can kind of see it, until that lines up with that barrel ramp, that lug. And you see right there, it's blocked, then it's open. At that point, you'd put the pin in. Oops. Now, this spring right here is actually what locks this in place. And it's got a little catch right there. And that goes into that. That's what keeps it in place. And when you turn that, it goes against this part here where there's not a notch. That's what allows it to come out. So once you get this in the appropriate position, you can put it in place. And really, you just push it in and kind of manipulate it around a little bit. There you go. You don't have to pull the slide all the way back to put the pin back in. So once it's back in place, function test it, pull the trigger, keep the trigger down, pull the slide back, let go forward, make sure it resets, and it's reassembled.